We're talking about work from home stocks. They certainly have been the big, huge, unbelievable winners of 2020. With just over 2 weeks until the election, COVID-19 still on the forefront. Will these stocks continue to outperform? Just recently hitting highs last week. John Freeman, Vice President, Equity Research at CFRA. Andrew Arons, founder and partner at Synergy Advisory Management Group, join us because we're going to ask them. Andrew, I'll start with you. Can these stocks go higher, and which ones are you referring to?
Well, I do think that some of these stocks can move higher. I definitely like some of the work-at-home economy stocks. Zoom, all these stocks are doing well. Zoom, Peloton. I like Peloton right now. I think it's got some momentum. Zoom right now, I think it may move higher into the first quarter of next year. And then I think when, hopefully we have a vaccine, some of these stocks may pull back a little bit here. We're seeing tremendous growth from Zoom. I think it's up almost 700% this year. And, we're bound to see some sort of a pullback at some point.
A pullback, okay. So this is my question to you, John, over there at CFRA. I don't know which ones of these names you have buy ratings on, or strong buys even. Let us know if you do. Is a pullback an opportunity?
Oh, I think it depends. I think it really depends on the stock and the company. So, for example, with Microsoft, it's one of the companies and stocks I cover. I have a strong buy because I believe that it's not just the work at home. There's also just the overall migration of client server applications to the cloud, right? That Microsoft is now benefiting from now that most of their revenue, well, a little bit more than 50%, comes from cloud subscriptions. So they have what I call a cloud transition tailwind. So all of the money that they would have normally gotten and that slowed their growth earlier when in their transition now gets spread forward and helps them, kind of is a strong sort of underlying baseline of growth. So I see mid-teens growth for Microsoft for the long duration. Obviously, very profitable company that can, expand operating margins even from here. So that's the one we like. The other, Zoom, just to touch on Zoom, we have a hold on Zoom. I don't cover it. That is our communications analyst, Keith Snyder. And I think both Keith and I agree that the problem with Zoom is they have some really strong, very clever stuff that has gotten them to where they are in terms of multiple video channels running at the same time, all isochronous, all, going in both directions. That's very hard to do. But it's not that hard to do. And now, like a lot of other companies can replicate that and put it into their software applications. Obviously, Microsoft's got a competitive product, and Atlassian also has a competitive product. So Microsoft Atlassian is another one I like, as well as the cloud companies Salesforce and ServiceNow. All four of those, I think, really benefit long term, not just in the moment. I think the moment is an accelerant. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. And so that was good. Yeah. And I appreciate the strong buy on Microsoft. I understand that as well. Andrew, tell me some of the others. We talk about Peloton and Workday and DocuSign and Teladoc. And we mentioned Zoom and Microsoft. Which ones do you think survive and do well over the next 5 or 10 years?
Well, I think a lot of these are going to survive and do very well with the subscriber base that a lot of these companies have built in right now. I think a lot of them are going to do very, very well. I think some of the valuations have gotten a little bit out of hand for some of these stocks, and they will probably pull back at some point and will be a good buy at that point. But some of the stocks that I like, I mean, you mentioned Teladoc. I think Teladoc's going to do extremely well. You mentioned Zoom. Zoom's going to do very, very well. Slack Technologies is going to do very well. All these companies are helping the individual communicate a lot better.
All right.
And make lifestyle changes.
Okay, well, I thank you both, Andrew Arons and John Freeman. I appreciate that you were both here with us to discuss this exciting group.